it's disgusting. Throwing fits, his phone, and tearing his room up and busting whatever else. I mean, he didn't get there overnight. Just no self-control, because no consistent discipline. And then emotionally, 2 Peter 3:17, physically, you therefore, beloved, knowing this beforehand, be on your guard so that you are not carried away by the errors of unprincipled men and fall from your own steadfastness. Especially teenagers today, the temptation with peer pressure. Hey, come on, let's go do this. Let's smoke this. Let's do this. Our kids need to learn up. They got to stand up and say, no, that's not right. Self-control. They need to learn this. All three of these things are the cause of every mistake you watch your kids do. One or a combination of these three. Every time, not sometimes. It's important that you know that, and it's important for you to stop reacting to the situation. Stop for a moment and go, okay, which one was that? Well, he hit his sister in the head. So that was a moral issue and a self-control issue. So that's why I have a predetermined discipline. And at the moment, you're going to go, that's a moral issue and a self-control issue. Don't do that. You just give them the discipline. Let me give you the 4 things that you need to do to instill responsibility and self-control that will help you, that come right out of the scriptures. 4 things for helping you instill those last 2 characters. The other one, morals and values, is your behavior, you representing Christ, and your discipline of children, of your kids. The next 2, you need written rules. How can you lead as a man if the rules aren't written? Who gave us the best example? What did he write them on? Stone. Now, could God made paper? Did he not know Moses was going to chuck them and break them? Sure he did. He could have made paper, but God wrote it on stone for a reason. Go like this. We're rock kids, and so are our children. God said, I've had more parents tell me, so many in counseling, my kids know what they are. And usually the mom's saying that. And so I said, okay, I'm going to do a little test. I said, now, Mom, you need to be quiet. Okay, I'm going to ask your husband a question. Now, Mom, be quiet. And I say to the man, now look at me. Don't look at your wife. Look at me. Tell me what the rules are. Oh, my gosh. The squirming that goes on at that moment. And they start looking over the wife. I go, no. Look at me. Tell me what the rules are. And then, but he gets 1 out, maybe 2, and the wife's all there. Oh my gosh, honey. I said, no, honey, don't be talking. Let him finish. He has no idea. Mom's come up with the rules. He's been kind of just following her and watching her facial expressions and her tone and letting her give him the cues when to step in and how to do certain things. Is that leadership? Hell no. It's sickening. Relinquishing the responsibility that God says a man is supposed to bring in to the home in unity. A wife cannot follow you and be your team encourager if it's not defined. Women were given this wonderful gift of emotions and have this connection to their kids for a very important purpose. But if they are not being clearly led with your leadership, with a clear plan, their emotions will be tempted to dictate how they feel at the moment, when and if and how they follow through. Have you noticed? So men and ladies, you need, in order for you to be unified on God's plan, you need to write your rules out and don't lie. Don't tell yourself, they know what they are. No, they don't. Write them out. Now, God governs the whole world and proved to us that we needed needed salvation and needed a Redeemer, and using how many rules? Not a trick. 10. So you can govern your house and instill these characters with less than 10. In the book, I give you examples for different ages and how many you should have that will help them by their character and cognitive abilities, how to start instilling these things to help you with that. I won't have time to get into all those. But written rule is important. Number 2, discipline. Predetermined. How can you be unified as a husband and wife if you are allowing your emotions and your wife does it one way and you have another way? How can you have unity and consistency in your home if that's happening? You don't. You, as a husband and wife, need to agree, here's a discipline we're going to use to every rule you've written, you have a predetermined discipline. And I give you examples, again, for different ages, how to use what we call a discipline box for younger kids. It's wonderful. You get a box or a jar, and you have your kids help you, and it's amazing. They will be very creative. And you say, okay, we're going to write on there little chores that are 3 to 5 minutes. When your kids are like 6 and older, you do this. And they will be very creative and help you write little things down. You put on a little piece of paper, fold it up, put it inside there. And when they blow it, it's okay. You get to pull. It's a discipline jar or box. And they reach in there. Whatever they pull out, they get to do now. Now, if it was just done, you say, no, you get to pick one because your sister just did that a few moments ago. Reach and put it on. But it just goes right back in there. And why that's kind of important, because it's random. Because if you let your emotions dictate what the severity of the discipline is, and you got a little mule, your disciplines will increase and get harder. And you're telling that boy, that girl, you love me less than my siblings, and you will provoke jealousy that you will pay again during adolescence. You will develop a hatred between that strong-willed and the other kids just because of your attitude. So you have a predetermined discipline to every single rule, and I show you how to do that for different ages. Predetermined, so it doesn't matter if mom's there or dad's there, if you had a good day, a bad day, it doesn't matter. You don't change it. That's the discipline we agree of, and our children know what it is up front. It's not a guessing game. It's not an argument that busts out. It's not an investigation. Did you mean to do it? Did you mean to do it? Because you meant to do it, it's going to be twice as bad. What the heck is that? You blew it. You proved to yourself and me that you're not done yet. I'm not mad. God said you came this way. I'm not going to act surprised anymore. You just proved that you're not done yet, so here's the discipline. And if you say no, you're asking for the motivator. So I show you how to use motivators for different ages in the material, which is number 3. You've got to have a predetermined method of punishment to every single rule. Now, most of your punishment will be consistent to when the rule is broken, whatever you come up with. If you use corporate punishment done correctly and love, we give you 13 do's and don'ts and how to use it properly. And we were real clear, it's a good motivator. Nick got hundreds. Justin, I think, had 2 his whole life, and my daughter had 1. 1 her whole life. Because she tried to jump out of a car when I was driving. When she was like 6, 5. That's how bad she was unwilling and did not want to go to school, because she had this fear issue of loud noises and craziness going on around her would cause her to become like a little wild animal. I mean, she would just crawl into a hole. And the playground was just a scary thing to my daughter. When kids screaming, yelling, running around like in this chaos, she would sit next to the teacher on the bench and just be like this with her eyes wide. And chapel, when the kids go in there and everyone's screaming and singing, my daughter would put her head down, put her hands over her ears. She was very just like, what's wrong with you? Nothing. She was just a very uniqueness of her that we had to adjust to. And she just hated the school thing. Teachers loved her. She was smart, whatever. Those type of environments, Disneyland was not a fun place for her. She had to physically be on my neck, holding my arm, my leg, physically be touching us. We went to Disneyland. It was like, I went to a doctor and we said, what do we go? Well, I think it's just her personality. You just got to be, gentle. So I spent hundreds of hours over those years, and as she was developed, helping her realize that fear is not from God, and how to take those thoughts captive. She chose not to go to school. She chose to homeschool all the way through high school. She chose it. And then when her friends came over and they spent time with her, she'd just go see what they're going through. I'm so glad. All the mind games, whatever. She asked to be homeschooled. And she's absolutely drop dead gorgeous. We helped her get her own business going when she was 12 and 13 because she went into fashion. She was called Suddenly Darling. And she got a website. They got over 70-some thousand followers, and we were selling stuff. And it was just a wonderful little project we had for her. And this shy little girl that my brothers and sisters used to say, man, she's just kind of strange and whatever. At 19 years old, said, I'm going to go to Texas because I have a friend out there, and I'm going to go live with them and start going to Watermark Church. I'm like going, wait a minute, this is our shy little girl? This is a little woman? To see this girl blossom into a young woman and overcome all that fear and stuff was awesome. But my point is, one punishment her entire life. Justin, again, I think it was 2. I think. Because he always yielded to discipline. Nick, hundreds. I would say go to discipline. Nick, you know what's coming next. You stand there. In his mind, he's going, I got to win, I got to win, I got to win, I got to win, I got to win. I can't do this. If I yield, I'm out of control, and I got to win, I got to win. I could see it. And I'm like, I'm going to kill you. That's what was going through my mind. But I learned to follow through with proper punishment and consistency. Last, again, is consistency. Where's the cop? Where's the policeman? Is he here? Oh, he's hiding in the back. You're our security. How many here drive cars? Raise your hand. How many speed? Raise your hand. Officer, you saw that, but you're raising your hand too. The number one reason why we speed is really for one reason. It's not because we're late or whatever. We speed because of the inconsistency of the police department. If they put a chip in our car next week, mandatory, and if we're on any road and we're more than 3 miles an hour past the speed limit, and it sent a signal up to the web and went to the police department, and 4 days later we got a ticket in the mail, how would we change our driving once they became consistently catching us? We'd, boom, all of a sudden have the willpower to go, I guess we're not going to get away with this. We better change. We'd be spending so much money trying to cover those things and get them out of our car, right? That's what we'd be doing. But without consistency, there is no change. If you're not consistent with following your rules and discipline and plan, you can just tell your kids are not going to get character. And it's your fault. Consistency is important because God says it's how we love our children. It's a component of love toward our kids. We need to be consistent. When we put these rules in place, we can't let our emotions dictate when and how we do it. We got to say, God, this is your plan. I have many parents, well, we like to show grace. I said, really, who do you show grace more to, your mule or your compliant child? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. We do with our compliant child. So your compliant child, you show more grace because they hardly ever do disciplines, but the mule sees you do it. You wonder why they hate each other so much? It's our human nature to give more grace to the one that makes our life easier than the mule that makes our life be more sacrificial. Stay consistent. Discipline and even punishment done right is love. Don't see it any other way. Don't walk away from this. It takes both of us, husband and wife, to press in. And again, if you're blended family or grandparents raising kids, this does not change. It does not change. Our kids need to know, here's what you're lacking. Here's how it works with our authority. We expect you to fail. We expect it. You're going to. And it's just proving to you and us that you're not done yet. We expect it. We're not going to get angry anymore. We're not going to yell. We're going to quit that. And here's a discipline. So here's a plan. We're going to have it up on the sheet someplace so you know, here's a rule, here's a discipline, here's what you're going to do. And if you say no to it, here's how we're going to motivate you. And you have a family meeting, you set that up. And in the material, I give you a lot more details, obviously, with this process and different ages of how to implement these things for that is important. But when you do that, you talk about peace and unity and transformation. Without it, you have chaos. You have inconsistency and division between the husband and wife. So I know I ran through much of this quickly because of our time today. And after lunch, we're going to come back and we're going to talk about, okay, what do we do with this? You know, I know the Lord has been working in some of your lives and going, oh, we didn't do that. Oh, we're not doing that. Oh, we didn't do that real good. Hey, man, why did God wait till now to tell you? He is so wonderful. He's so patient. And so you need to know, I encourage you to come back. We're going to do communion also. So come back, we're going to do communion, and I'm going to just kind of describe some very important steps, what God would want you to do to start over. God's mercies are new when? Every day. And so he wants you to know that. He's not mad at you. He's not going, what the heck's wrong with you? He's not asking why you did what you did. He already knows what you did what you did. He's saying, I love you, and I'm so glad that you made the time to be here, and I want to help you start over and put things in order. The word repent simply means to turn around and start doing his will. And that's all he's asking us to do today. Amen? See you after lunch.
Thank you, Craig. So we're going to have lunch.